I think that majority of this population are constantly eating against their nervous system. And I think it's a massive factor contributing to anxiety, depression, digestive problems. People just don't understand the nervous system and especially with eating, how it affects it so much. So let me tell you a story first of all before I go more into it. About a year ago, I was in Singapore airport and I'd just been traveling. Um, it was also 1 week after the Air India crash happened, obviously, a very tragic event. And I was really scared. Like, I was getting really catastrophic thoughts in my head, thinking that something similar was going to happen to me. I'm not going to make it home to my family safe, etc., etc. You can imagine the kind of thoughts that were going through my mind, something so soon after such a tragic event. And usually, when my nervous system is in this kind of anxious fight or flight response, just scanning for threats, whatever, when it comes to eating, I would search for foods that are instant, quick. Um, yeah, foods that I can eat quickly, give me a quick dopamine hit, and just make me feel stimulated, just distract me from the pain that I was in. But this time, I actually decided to go against my intuition then and do the complete opposite. So, in such a situation where my body is absolutely overdriven with stress, anxiety, and catastrophic thoughts, I decided to eat plain foods and I decided to eat foods very slowly. Um, and pretty much ever since then, I went down a rabbit hole of understanding intuitive eating and behavioral kind of eating as well, and psychology. And pretty much ever since a year ago now, I've mastered my emotional eating loops. I no longer suffer from emotional eating. I understand what foods slow me down and what foods make me feel good, more productive, more healthy, more happy. So, yeah, I want to make this video because I do think that a lot of people still suffer from this. And yeah, after this happened, I decided that, um, well, I came to the realization that pretty much I'd been eating wrong the whole time, my whole life. Uh, from eating in front of a screen to just bolting my food down all the time, never chewing it properly, um, just not eating slowly, not focusing on the food when you're eating it. Like, this led to so much unnecessary stress and digestive problems over the years. Um, yeah, not only that, but it just made me more depressed, more anxious, more jittery, more just unsatisfied. And it's a massive problem in today's society because everyone not only eats convenience foods, which are kind of designed for you to eat quickly because they're so palatable and they just hyper rewarding to taste. Um, they also cause lots of depression and anxiety afterwards. So I'm making this channel for multiple reasons. First of all, because of insights to how to overcome some of these things, and also the food system as a whole. Ultra processed foods and your emotional eating are pretty much hand in hand. They go in hand in hand. Um, it's kind of hard to emotionally eat healthy food to an extent. I mean, it can happen, but like it's not necessarily the end of the world and has the same kind of effects that emotional eating with ultra processed foods do. Um, and yeah, so how did I break free from my emotional eating loops? Well, first of all, it came with an understanding of a concept of System 1 versus System 2 thinking, which was created by a author named Daniel Kahneman from the book Thinking Fast and Slow. So essentially, your brain is split into two modes of thinking. You have System 1, which is automatic. It is basically the associations you've kind of made from birth of sentences. For example, if I was to say bread and nothing and leave it there, you would probably finish the sentence with butter, fish and whatever, chips. It's automatic. You make these mental associations, and they are built from habit and conditioning over time. Some people can call system one thinking like the lizard brain, automatic brain, survival brain, whatever. It's basically just doing things on autopilot and not having a conscious control, um, or independent, kind of agency over those thoughts. And then system two thinking is the opposite. So system two thinking is when you get the automatic thought, the automatic behavior, and you consciously challenge it. You take yourself out of the automatic thinking, and instead you decide not to eat the bad food, or put down the bag of Doritos after a certain amount, whatever. So, yeah, those are the two systems of thinking. And combining that knowledge with understanding how the loop of emotional eating works, you have the trigger, which is the emotion. Then you have the survival brain instinct, which is to eat and to dissipate the pain. And then you get the reward afterwards, which is the dopamine hit, usually, if it's a highly palatable processed food. And then you get the guilt and the shame after, which is usually when your consciousness actually appears. So instead of the consciousness appearing at the beginning, at the trigger, your consciousness of the cycle appears at the bottom. And this is why you stay stuck, because you go through the periods of the cycle and then you're aware. But every single time, you don't spot yourself from the trigger happening, from the emotion, and so you fall back into it. I was stuck in this for literally 19 years, and I used to go to bed. Okay, say 19 years, as if I didn't have. I'm 20. I didn't have consciousness really till I was like 5. But ever since being a kid, I basically struggled with this up until last year, and I used to go to bed every single night wondering how I'd ever break free from it. Obviously, willpower never worked, but yeah, coming to understand your trigger and the emotion is what will bring you in the direction to set yourself free from this. Because if you understand the trigger and the emotion that's starting the cycle in the first place, well, once you've dealt, or once you've brought more awareness and presence into your life and you can spot the cycle, well, then obviously you can then use the system two thinking to consciously bring yourself out of the bad behavior. So this requires obviously some inner work of what is your triggers, what is causing your triggers to any bad habit, not let alone emotional eating. What's causing you to drink alcohol, what's causing you to watch porn, what's causing you to eat the bag of Doritos, or whatever, the chocolate bar, and indulge. It comes with understanding the trigger and getting to the bottom of the trigger. So for me, it was quite often a combination of stress from either school or work, or sometimes just boredom or loneliness. It's a way to deal with those uncomfortable thoughts, and combining that with meditation as well was really good for me. Meditation will bring the awareness of this problem, or this loop, should we say. It brings it to light, and you can start noticing the patterns. You can also start journaling the patterns afterwards. If you find yourself falling into it, you can journal down what the emotions you were feeling, and you'll start noticing over time of consistent journaling how the emotional eating loops came about. So yeah, that is all I have to say for this video. I'm gonna make a lot more videos on this topic, and also about food systems and ultra processed foods, because that is a massive problem in society right now.